and ask those questions as to, fine, it's solving a problem, okay, but how are we doing it? Are we doing it in a way that actually betters the environment, that makes the world a better space or not? And if not, then it doesn't work for us. So then we go back to the drawing board. I'll give you a very quick example. So when the second product we made, right, was a very simple cover for a yoga mats, right? We started off with a very, very tiny budget, so we had no scope to really experiment. We figured people are buying our mat, so they need a place to put the mat, right? So we make a nice cover for them, and it was fairly simple, straightforward product. But what we wanted to do is make sure that this product actually added value to people, right? Now, our customers for sure, because it's feature rich, but also the people who make it. So what we figured is that it would be easy for us to go to a factory, show them a couple of samples, go back and forth for a week or two and get this mass manufactured, but it was not really helping anyone, right, in this whole process. We figured that if we do that, when people travel, and especially in Bombay, because we're from Bombay, the rains are crazy. When they travel to yoga class, there's a chance of the cover getting wet, and the cover gets wet, the mat gets wet, and that kind of ruins your whole practice, right? So then we figure that, okay, it has to be waterproof, but to make it waterproof, that means it has to have a plastic lining, right? And then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of being sustainable. But we figured that, okay, what if, instead of looking at this problem from instead of solving the problem through sustainable materials, what if we kind of find a way to integrate a sustainable livelihood into the product? So instead of going to a factory, what we did is we went to Dharavi. We spoke to a bunch of women over there, spent a lot of time in Dharavi. Dharavi is, for those who don't know, is one of the biggest slums in Asia. And it's, so people over there are obviously from the lower strata of society, low social, low standard of living, etc. So we went to Dharavi, we spent a lot of time over there, we spoke to the women over there, understood that, if we could figure out some way of providing them employment, then we're making a sustainable choice and we're making a tangible difference. Even though the product inherently is using plastic, we're still improving the lives of people in some way, right? So we spend 6 to 8 months training these women on how to actually, stitch cloth together. From there to walking markets with them and actually sourcing materials, to now having them a part of our family in such a way that they make a whole range of our products for us. So now our meditation cushions, which are organically sourced, I mean, the cotton is 100% organic, but we still employ these women because, it's such a win-win situation, right? So our meditation products are made by them, our eye pillows are made by them, they make our bags, and every time we launch a new product, we first go to them and ask them, hey, is this something you guys can make for us? Because, okay, it's more expensive to do it. It takes more time. The quality is not as good as a factory, but then there's such a huge difference that you're making in terms of people's lives, and it's so evident to see, right? Like from the time we first met these people to 2 years later when we meet them now, we can see that not only has their whole demeanor changed, though the way their families function have changed, the way their children are growing up has changed, and that is like intangible. You can't put a value on that. So that is very, very important to us as a brand. So while we are sustainable, the first thing that we keep in mind is performance of the product, right? Sustainability is number two. And in sustainability also, it's not only about using sustainable materials, it's about using sustainable manufacturing practices, about promoting all-round development, trying to impact lives in a larger way. Because I understand there are a lot of problems that can't be solved by using just materials that are sustainable. It's either not as effective or too expensive, but there are so many ways in which you can, use the constraints that you have and still make a positive impact. So yeah, and the whole thinking, the whole thought process came about because the first founding stone was the philosophy of yoga. Try to be as inclusive as possible, and leave as little a footprint as possible. So the entire thinking that